going to go ahead and do a session. It's about 1:30 in the afternoon on Friday, 21st November 2025. I'm going to go ahead and start the session. I just checked off camera, and let me just explain to you what happened when I was when I was having lunch. At that time, on the calendar with Shirdi Sai Baba's photo on it, I thought I saw some remote version of the real Sanjeev Rajan Lekhraj. And I saw on the right side of his body something going off. So it felt like as if that could be either a gunshot, something in the right side of the chest, right side body chest. So I, any which ways, was having lunch at that time. I wondered, but then I said, leave it. So now when I've come here, what happened is I got this, which says SL Lu, Andy. Andy is nobody but Anand Khandelwal, a friend of the real SRL, Sanjeev Rajan Lekhraj. From the time they were kids in Bombay, Dalamal, is what I was told. Whether that is true or not true, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to the Pendulum. I will come here and do the reading. I asked, and my sister file name Cat is there. I did also ask her, is Sanjeev Rajan Lekhraj with you? I got a yes. So I'm going to repeat it. It was not too much. And then we continue with the session that Nikhil Advani wanted to speak to me about. Nikhil Advani and Sanjeev Rajan Lekhraj and Praveen Lekhraj. Nikhil Advani being my first cousin. Sanjeev Rajan Lekhraj and Praveen Lekhraj being the Cotton World boys, the owners and their children. But the point is, so they are friends in Bishop Cotton's here in Bangalore during the 80s, late 70s, 80s. They've all gone to Bishop Cotton School. Sanjeev Lekhraj, the real Sanjeev Rajan Lekhraj, and his brother Praveen Rajan Lekhraj have moved to Bangalore suddenly, overnight, within a week's time is what he says. It could have been more than that. It's primarily to open a extension in another city. Open, one more Cotton World in Bangalore city. The prime business is happening in Bombay. Now, having understood that the real Sanjeev Rajan Lekhraj was actually dead, I never married Sanjeev Rajan Lekhraj. The way it was explained to me by that boy was that his family was thrown out of their Dalamal home by the grandfather, and when he came to Bangalore, he was staying in Hosur somewhere. That may be true, that may not be true. If that is not true, then find out what is the connect to Hosur in the 70s. Because maybe he is telling like how in Ankur Patodia's case, Ankur Patodia, his family has a big bungalow on Marine Drive of Cochin. But the guy who is playing Ankur Patodia at that time has to take it back to Palghar and Palakkad as a place where he comes from. Taking growth back to a place which is a further away town or a very small place compared to who he is shapeshifting for, whether dead or alive, the original, what his story is. So he has to kind of infuse a little bit of his own truth, given that nobody knows nobody, right? So he may be telling the truth, he may not be telling the truth, but then in this case of Sanjeev Rajan Lekhraj, the angle of Hosur is a very important one. Okay? So I will start again. I will just say, Varsha, file name Cat Sweetheart, are you here? Cutie Pie, are you here, baby? Okay, lovely. I hope this fan is not coming in your way. Is the fan coming in your way, baby? Okay, I'm glad. Sanjeev Rajan Lekhraj, who I thought I saw from the calendar earlier while having lunch. Is Mr. Sanjeev Rajan Lekhraj, Praveen Lekhraj's brother, around you? Now you are going slow and saying yes, but the point is, earlier though you were jumping off camera saying yes, Sanjeev Rajan Lekhraj is around me. So there are two questions to ask you over here. There is Praveen Lekhraj's real brother called Sanjeev Rajan Lekhraj, who is Simal Lekhraj's real cousin from Cotton World. Right? It goes back to your Bishop Cotton school days when you were studying with Nikhil Advani. It goes back to a time when you are not cloned for. You're still the original boy who has moved from Dalamal, Bombay, and I don't know whether it was overnight or it was primarily for the extension of the Cotton World shop to Bangalore. Yes? So your mom, your dad, your brother and yourself moved to Bangalore. What I'm trying to understand is, initially did you go and stay in Hosur? Is it true you were staying in Hosur when you first came to Bangalore? Okay, that was infused into by your shapeshifter to make it look like a low income situation. Hosur was infused into the conversation to make it a low income and to take away identity of who he was standing in for. It was done primarily to insult the Advani family. I'm an Advani and a Sadrangani, so primarily to insult the Advani side of the family. The guy himself is a low-lying scumbag from a really bad background. Very different from actually what the Cotton World background and what the Lekhraj's or any Sindhi actually is. Okay, as long as we have that on record, I thought as much, because this is what they did with Ankur Patodia. Ankur Patodia's family has a big bungalow on Marine Drive, Cochin, which was probably what was axed, the woodwork. Maybe, maybe not. But the guy who was standing in, or the girl who was standing for Ankur Patodia, talks about Palghar and Palakkad. The strange part is that is 1997. In 2022, when I was staying at Holiday Inn Racecourse, Cyrus Mistry, a duplicate of his, not his original, I understood later, ended up in the accident in Palghar. But then that Palghar is the same place that they spoke about being Ankur Patodia's ancestry. Palghar to Palakkad. Palghar being in Maharashtra, Palakkad being in Kerala. Neither of the two places that any Sindhi from South Bombay's community of known to each other from the 50s would actually go to, because there's really no need for either of the two. So I'm saying they did the same thing with you. Said when you arrived in Bangalore, your mother first got you to stay in Hosur. And you all were staying there for a few years or 1 year before you all moved. Manu, your mother's brother. Your mother's brother is Manu, who has very big investments in big companies like Shobha and things like that. His wife was Shobha. Anyway, I'm not getting into that. All I'm saying is where Ankur Patodia studied and reference to context to Palghar, where the shapeshifter of Cyrus Mistry ends up in an accident, Palghar is not the only common thing between what Ankur Patodia's duplicate spoke. But the real Ankur Patodia and Cyrus Mistry both went to the same school called Cathedral, where Uday Agarwal, Abhay Agarwal also studied at. Manjeet Sadrangani, my mother's brother, also studied in Cathedral. Anil Ramchandani, who's in a problem, also went to Cathedral. Harish Gidwani, who is dead, he's no more in the body. Arjun and Mamlu Gidwani's son, he also went to Cathedral. There are a lot of people who went to Cathedral school, many who are no more. So this bunch was doing what Amir Khan did through one movie, in which he's showing like two different schools, one which is a private school, and puts them in a race with people who are not going to a private school. So they use that as a tactic to hire people for their agenda, packaging it differently from what they actually want from them, just the way they're packaging the Yuva event. Were we toy soldiers? Sanjeev, Rajan, Lekhraj, you, Simal, Lekhraj, the schools we went to, we had lots of songs we used to listen to that came from America and Europe. The billboards also, now this, now that, now 16, now 15, now 14. Right? Top of the charts. Point is, you used to like a song called, even Simal, Varsha, they used to talk about toy soldiers being one song. So was 70s kids, were they kind of persuaded, kind of, you can say, through psychology, without actually asking you to do anything, but preempting a particular response and shepherding you and herding you in a particular direction? So do you say that the Yuva concept is something similar to that, except it's going to be digitized and it has got to do with actual chipping and brain control? Am I right about it? So is it the height of control with literally no freedom whatsoever, because what they're talking about is jihad, which is freedom. The toy soldiers, which was applied to us in the 70s without us realizing it, is the Yuva of today. In our case, they were persuading us and playing mind games, knowing what the preempted response is most likely to be, without really controlling the brain signals of ours. But in the case of the Yuva, are they planning to control the brain signals and get them to do exactly what they want to do? The Yuva has already been connected to the neural network. The Yuva has already been connected to the neural network. The Yuva has been connected to which neural network, can you tell me? Is it a good neural network that they have been connected to? The Yuva has been connected to what? The beast neural network? The Yuva has been connected to a neural network which sets them back and makes them take wrong decisions on purpose, which is detrimental for their growth. So the beast has not handed over the beast's power as an extension to the Yuva. Has the beast extended the beast's network to the Yuva as an extension of itself? So the beast is planning to stamp down on humanity completely through the beast's tentacles which is some of the people who for now are in places of influence, decision making. The beast has extended his neural network only to some people in government, police, army. The masses that are the yuva are another neural network which is purposeful wrong decision making. The yuva is connected to a neural network of the beast but purposeful wrong decision making. Without handing over the power of the beast. Has the power of the beast been neurally transferred or is real time transferred to the influencers or then to the ones who he has chosen, she has chosen in the government and the police? Is that power shared by the beast to make them the hands and legs of whatever her decision making is? At the same time, it is giving the wrong decision making to the yuva so that they do the wrong thing on purpose. Also, they are very unclear in seeing what is happening with them. They are not able to see it. The beast has been doing that without sharing power with them. So they're still in, are they in control of the goodness within them as of today? Do they have free access to what is the Atma within them, which is the goodness that is within them? They're not able to connect with it. Has this got anything to do with the coronavirus injections that we took? The babies were chipped at birth. Is that what the problem is? The preparations were done what? When the baby is still in the fetus? To be able to stamp down on the brain and to neurally connect with the brain, there has to be a receiver in the brain. Otherwise, how can you actually then connect neurally? It's like a LAN network, right? Or a wireless. So my question is, at which point in the timeline did the yuva get chipped? How did the yuva get chipped is the question. How did these people, how did they get access to the so-called yuva, which in our time even a 3-year-old is called a young man? There's no question of being, irresponsible and young and irresponsible and, just then you end up just redundant. And if you are redundant, then whatever you produce is going to be a zillion times more redundant. And as time goes by, every descendant to your grandchildren, to your great-grandchildren will just be incompetent. They have also gone on record saying we can make India worse than Syria and Afghanistan. So they weren't joking. Also, when the coronavirus happened, one lab said, when they showed on the news a pallet where there's a drop of blood for testing and then a drop of solution, clear solution, they say for every drop of blood you dropped at where? Kashmir. We will drop your tears, something of that sort. The next thing you go and see on the internet, they're like all these young guys sitting and blowing into the notes, currency notes of India. So there is something that is not seen and it's not okay. And whole time they're talking about yuva in my home, whereas I got nothing to do with the yuva. They just need to be very careful amongst themselves. Can you explain to me how they got chipped? Is there a chip fitted into them to be connected to the neural network to make them primarily financially unviable? frankly, tomorrow they're going to be a big burden wherever they go. All kinds of a burden. And with no spiritual knowledge either to support them. Was the chip injected into them at some point in time? So my question is, was the nanochip injected into them during the coronavirus? Was it while they were sleeping that it has been chipped on them, when there was no movement out of the house, you had to be in your home? Is that the time when the chipping happened on everybody? Keeping the vaccination aside, was the vaccination a separate issue? With the MRI, is the chip findable? If one goes in to have an MRI, can you find the chip? The nano chip can be found with an MRI? To find the nano chip via the MRI, what part of the body has to be looked at? Can the chip be lodged anywhere? Would you have to check the brain for the lodging of the chip? But when I told Kabir Gupta's fake ID called Cubs, who has also shapeshifted for you, SRL, you are Sanjeev, Rajan, Lekhraj, legally born into the womb of a Lekhraj family. SL has played Kabir Gupta, my own first cousin brother. Then he has dared to even shapeshift apparently for you as SL. Then he has gone and shapeshifted for R Madhavan. But when he has been somebody who was shapeshifting for you, were you alive when I was married to the so-called SRL? That was an absolute sham. I have understood it. Was that an absolute sham? Was that outright cheating and an absolute sham, redundant kind of association? So it is from when I was at Ranka Park with the fake ID SRL, 10 shapeshifters apparently. One of them used to talk about R Madhavan and about Mahabalipuram and some shooting for Cotton World which had happened over there. That's the only reason I even know about R Madhavan, or then some Kamble. He's a cricketer. Was R Madhavan murdered in the 90s itself? The real Mr. R Madhavan? Is the real Mr. R Madhavan actually still in his human body? Do you need to check to find out if the real Mr. R Madhavan is still in his human body? Do you need to look into the loka to figure it out? So can you look into the loka to figure out, because if he has a family, it is more important they know whether he's around or not. Anyway, this guy who has shapeshifted for you, and he's been called SRL because he's been called SL because SRL is the real identity, SL is the fake identity. He has shapeshifted for R Madhavan. He has shapeshifted at Elon's camp too. He has shapeshifted for the cleaner in my home too, in some follow-up after the Ranka Park incident happened here in Bangalore. Then he has shapeshifted in Bombay too, after I've returned back to my father's home. This is what I understood. Had he shapeshifted for my father too at some point in time? Had he ever come to Jaswell shapeshifting for my dad too? He is responsible for the murder of Mr. Nikhil Advani. So while he was shapeshifting for my father, he got Nikhil Advani CRISPR'd to my dad too. He got Mr. Amitabh Bachchan also CRISPR'd to my father, and then killed him, murdered him. Is there any person from any ashram that he also CRISPR'd into Mr. Kani Advani's identity? Can you tell me who? Because on the phone, what Anita spoke when it came to the Kingfisher issue, she said that Vijay Mallya had been guided by Sri Sri Ravi Shankar to start an airline where you make people happy. So Kingfisher airline was launched, something Live the Good Times or Live the High Life or something of that sort was their byline. But whoever was shape-shifting for SRL in 2002 keeps telling me, I want to live life to the fullest. I want to live life to the fullest. So because they brought up the question of Sri Sri Ravi Shankar on the phone talking with my mom's voice, except I understand that my mom was pulled off the grid and she had a fake ID talking on her behalf and shape-shifting for her too. Same with Varsha Advani, CRISPR'd to a name called Anita and working in other people's homes the way they got Mala Bhavnani. CRISPR'd after she has gotten married to Nikhil Advani, brought to Bombay, put into the slums at some point in time. Last 2.5 months worked at at Shalina Hundalani's Deep Towers in the year 2008. The last 2.5 months she was working in Shalina Hundalani's home, where SL Shamlu Sharma's fake ID, this girl called Shalina Hundalani, who's the fake ID for Varsha Advani, they murdered Mala Bhavnani, who was working for 2.5 months at Deep Towers. It was the year 2008 yesterday I came to know. I put out the video, so I'm repeating what I got. All the information is true. This guy has shapeshifted as a CA also and murdered Shifali Rane when she got married to a CA. Don't know if the CA was he was a Marwadi CA from Bombay or someone who's a foreign return or he lives abroad, NRI, God only knows what. But this guy also says even the byline for Kingfisher was what? Live the high life, live the good times. Something of that sort. When Modi came into government, he says, Achhe din aayenge, good times are going to come. This is the connection of the miscreant. Right? But connecting it further is when Nikhil was brought to my home on the phone with again Anita Merchant, fake identity. Somebody is telling me about, when Nikhil was born, his nose was a real piglet, was like a real piglet. Now I say, okay, if you say it's cute but when she's saying it, she's going on and on and on and wanting to stress. You say it on one day, it's okay. You say it on the second day, you say it on the third day, then you leave it, and then after 1 week again you repeat it. That is something that's like a red flag. The point about it is, my parents have brought me up never to speak badly about anybody. In fact, if the fat boy falls in front of us, we're not to laugh. So my mom bad-mouthing somebody, even if you're trying to make it look very sweet, is not my mom's personality. So and this is where I didn't have the photo of Nikhil standing with Nikhil Thakurdas, with Shifali Rane, myself. I didn't see that photo. Now recently I saw that photo where Nikhil would be about 2-3 years old. He'd be about 2 years old because I am about 3. Shifali is next to us. Nikhil Thakurdas also is over there. Nikhil and I are the dainty, smaller built children from the Advani family. The others are more full grown. Right? But the way Nikhil was standing over there reminded me of my own dad at some point in time. The way he's standing, and that was the exact same style, except that this photo I haven't seen for the longest time. It's just part of many albums and many photos that I didn't look at. Now recently when I looked at it, I said, hey, 1 minute, isn't this the same way Papa used to stand? So that's where I now came to a conclusion. What they spoke on the phone was because Nikhil was CRISPR'd into my home, looking like my dad. There's no connection, but there is a connection that only they know. When it comes to Mr. Vijay Mallya, I got he was in the Suez Canal, held underground hostage for many years before he was murdered in sometime 2009 itself. Or 2012, I can't remember, one of the two. But for his Kingfisher also, what were we given? He was given the advice by Sri Sri Ravi Shankar. Now, was there any guru from any ashram that had been CRISPR'd as Mr. I-Advani and also brought to number 4 Jaswal? Because they grabbed the gatti, there was a fight on the Saidis. So if you openly fight for the gatti of the Saidis, that means the other ashrams you won't have left. There is an accounting for Amritanandamayi Mata's ashram, an open fight, lots of allegations, and prior to that, Satya Sai Baba's ashram with the same allegations, but leveraged to the boys. In Amritanandamayi Mata's ashram, the allegations are leveraged towards the women, but it's primarily the same thing, the same style, the same agenda, the same manuscript, just tweaked a little for both places. So my question is, there are 2 more big gurus in India, or maybe many more that we don't know. One is Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, the other one is Sadguru. Were both brought CRISPR to my home as I-Advani. Was Sri Sri Ravi Shankar brought to my home CRISPR'd as Mr. Advani? Sadguru was CRISPR'd as Mr. Advani and brought to my home. His name is Mr. Jaggi Vasudev. Is he in his human body today still? Jaggi Vasudev is still in his body? Is he in his ashram as the guru of his ashram? Is he the original? How did he get back after being CRISPR'd? I cannot understand. He is still alive in the body on earth? Okay, that's very good. Sri Sri Ravi Shankar is still in his human body on earth? A cross between Osama bin Laden and that kind of person is shape-shifting for Sri Sri Ravi Shankar today? Okay, that's pretty sad. So Shri Shri Ravi Shankar and Dalai Lama were told go down and teach. So they're the ones who are departed souls. Okay. Nikhil said he was removed from my home in 2009. I'm not sure whether it was the 7th of September 2009, he says, in the evening. I'm not sure about the day because there was Mala's also removal from Deep Towers where she was murdered and SL was there. Shamlu Sharma's fake identity, who's supposed to be ISIS. Ravi Hundalani is a fake identity. That's the original Ravi Hundalani at Deep Towers. Now at Sharan. Anyway, Shalina Hundalani, his legally wedded wife, fake identity for Varsha-ADVANI, was also there when Mala Bhavnani was murdered at Deep Towers. These are the murderers of her. Was I present at Deep Towers at that time? The year was 2009. No, it was 2008 for Mala Bhavnani. Is it true? I'll have to see the video again to see when in 2008. Nikhil was, I'm pretty sure, September 2009 is what he said. From my own apartment, Fort Jaswell is what he says. He says it was evening time. I say, was I in the house? Was I in the apartment? So he says he's not sure. I say, but wasn't there any blood over there? How do we know that there was no blood? He says, no, he was strangulated. Also, I say, but then how can they get rid of the body? He says then I got the vision of the bathroom windows, because in 2010 I felt somebody's breaking into my apartment. But I had already called Koshi auntie and complained and told her that my suit, where I was going for a swim at Celebration Club, because I was going away to Sumantas to get away from something, I didn't know what it was. I was not sure what it was. The energy was pretty bad. So I had spat at the floor and given bad words in my grandmother's room, which is the smaller room. And then I had gone away to Suman Towers. I used to go away to Suman Towers for a breather. I wasn't sure if I was there or if I was still at home. But if I'm at home, I would hear the struggle. So I say, okay, was I locked in my bedroom? And so whatever happened, I didn't hear it. But then if there is a struggle, I can hear it. Right? So I said, then how did you get rid of the body? I even asked about the watchman. They said, no, the watchmen weren't involved. The boy who was the cleaner at our home, Ladka, SL has shapeshifted for him also. So that means when he has shapeshifted for Ladka at my home, these boys go to 20-30 places, offices and homes, and do the cleaning in, quick. And in some places, they only clean the toilets and take the garbage. Given that Suman Rane, Shifali Rane, Sonali Rane's their parental home is in the next building from mine, it is possible that he can go over there to collect the garbage or something. So he has taken cognizance of the home. Anyway, what I understand from my first cousin Nikhil Advani, because my swimsuit, and I felt my home was broken into a couple of times and I was not comfortable. And when I was going to, so then I checked the bathroom And I say, but where can somebody enter over here from? Right? I had to take like, rope to tie the window really tight, because I feel somebody is jumping in from somewhere, but I don't know from where they're able to jump in. I had a problem in even, that was like 2010 when 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Before and after I've gone to New Zealand and returned. Then I moved to Sumantas. There also there were break-ins. My body got chipped actually, I think, in Suman Towers because of easy access to the bedroom, which doesn't lock completely. These guys know how to break locks also. Even if we have 3 latches locked, these guys know how to break it, which makes it a big problem. Here in Bangalore, on the 18th floor, they have broken the bathroom window the same way. So that is like the chute or the chute or whatever it's called, which they call the fire exit. It connects into the bathrooms, it connects into the utility also. They have broken the utility door lock. They have broken the window of the utility. They have broken the window which connects the bathroom to the utility through that fire exit pipe. They have broken the lock of this balcony to the living room in this place where I am doing the recording. They have broken the lock of my main door. He has actually opened my door when it is latched 3 times, put something very heavy on my hands, which does a lot of talking and takes about 3 months to 5 months to come off, and it's very, very uncomfortable. And so I have to lock my room in a different way, which I have to do every night as a ritual. In spite of that, after that, he has come into the home and chainsawed the Al drop from the inside of the apartment. Then the only person who had a problem, he has gone and bent my main door key also. This key is so difficult to bend, it's not easy. This is very difficult because these keys are very heavy. These keys are very heavy. This is the normal key, but once I found my key in my bag, bent in this way, but if you try to bend it, it is not possible. It's too heavy. It's too thick. This key is not easy to bend. Yet I found my key bent like this. Biometricking this apartment's biometrics to somebody and calls me a housekeeper in my own apartment and puts my value of 96,100,000 for this apartment that I bought on the 18th floor, Purva Palm Beach, 18th floor, JAYA Tower, Bangalore 560077, calls me the housekeeper after I've given them the demand draft from my own bank account in Kotak Bank. And today is creating parallel clones for me, and that is why they have come and chainsawed the Al drop, because Girija at the same time was removed and cloned. Parallelly wanted to do the same thing to me, but it didn't happen. I'm still here. The only one who does these kind of things is who? Mr. Ramesh Advani is known to bend forks and knives when he's angry after he has left Madura courts. So who is that? He is the first person in our family after that time who wanted my dad to sell Sumantas and give him his share, which was nonsensical simply because Ramesh Advani was given his share for Sea Lord by my dad at Cuff Parade. Then he has gone to Brewery House, picked up fights with Mrs. Ritu Malia, and Pramila Hingorani gets angry watching her mother being drained and tells him, please leave. There also he feels very insulted. But he didn't have this problem before. He has also gone and fought with everybody in Bangalore club after that time. Then he has gone and had a fight with Subhash Gupta also, who is his brother-in-law. Under normal circumstances, nobody in our family really has any fights. Can I ask you anything? Can I ask you something about Mr. Ramesh Advani's identity? Nikhil's father, who was working at Madura Courts, is he still in his human body today? And I'm talking about Mr. Nikhil Advani. His father, Mr. Ramesh Advani, who was working at Madura Courts. My dad gave him, his share or whatever so he could buy Sea Lord apartments and then, get on with his life. Did this incident happen in the past in the 70s when he was married to Suchitra Mirchandani Advani? That's the place where Nikhil Advani was born, at Sea Lord, Cuff Parade. And at Breach Candy Hospital. When Nikhil Advani was getting married to Mala Bhavnani, there was a Western party, right, when Nikhil was pretty high. But he was dressed like a banker in his pinstripe, how the bankers, investment bankers dress. He was dressed that way and whatever. It was a good party. Prior to that, I moved from Suman Towers, 1401 Suman Towers to Forge Ashwell for Nikhil's wedding. And I went there for about a month because they had hired and rented out a apartment, calling it the Shadi Ka Ghar. And so they rented out an apartment at Sea Lord for old time's sake, till the time the marriage happens, to give Nikhil his memories of his childhood. And so they rented out somebody's apartment, fully furnished, and so we could also drop into Sea Lord and hang around with him before he gets married. Koshi Gupta's family at that point in time stayed at West End, did not stay at Forge Ashwell. Was that Kaushalya Advani who was there? Was Kabir Gupta alive at that time during Nikhil Advani's marriage? Was the real Mr. Kabir Gupta, Koshi Gupta and Subhash Gupta's oldest son, was he still in his human body at that time? That was him. There was some altercation also, I think, for the Gurdwara or what, I can't remember. I'm not able to remember. My memory is now little mixed, juggled. So I will leave it. I will not get into something I'm not sure about. I needed to check for this. Is SRL showed me from the photo, the calendar here today when I was having lunch, something bursting in his right side chest, on his chest, in the right side of his body, on Shirdi Sai Baba's photo. I'm saying you were shot with a gun. That was, I've been given to understand, the event happened here in Bangalore. The event happened sometime towards the end of 1995. But my question is, if you were shot on the right side of your chest, you can't die out of a shot on the right side of the chest. Are you saying that shot on your chest, on the right side of your chest, killed you? You saying just that shot killed you? The heart is on the left side of the chest. So what? They made you bleed to death? They shot you on the right side and left you to bleed to death? Here in Bangalore? SL is involved in your murder? The head beast is involved in your murder? One of your employees is involved in your murder? One of your Cotton World employees was involved in your murder? Had you already moved to Baton Center? Your employee who shot you on the right side of your chest and left you to bleed to die shapeshifted for you also in later years along with SL? So there are two different entities who shapeshifted for you? SL is the extension of the beast, the head beast. Your employee is also an extension of the head beast. If SL has played the role of Mr. Kabir Gupta and it's a fake identity of Mr. Kabir Gupta, he has done so after murdering Mr. Kabir Gupta, knowing he is my cousin brother. And he is a support system for me, so they got rid of my whole support system. That is because of the 5 months of what happened at Ranka Park, where this guy has shapeshifted for somebody already murdered in the nexus of murderers and shapeshifters. And so he decides to cut off all my support from within the family. These signals are sent to him from the head beast. The head beast has played his mother as Koshi Gupta while he is shapeshifting for Kabir Gupta. How many people have shapeshifted for Koshi Gupta? Can you tell me? Is it possible? You're saying there are victims also involved in the shapeshifting of dead Koshi Gupta? Just the way that it happened with Mr. JAYA.ADVANI's profile? And Mrs. Anita Merchant's profile? And Shalina Hundalani's profile too? So the criminal rotates amongst the victims of the already dead victim. Anyway, what Nikhil Advani has told me is his body was passed on from the window. Finally, when I moved into that apartment in 2018 from Suman Towers, when my dad has passed away on the 3rd of May 2018, and the funeral has been held that very same night, evening, His body is thinking he has passed away at 6:30 in the morning, but by 1 in the afternoon, the whole apartment, like, I don't think a body smell that much so soon. Shalina has come back from the crematorium and she is talking about not believing in God, and she believes she herself is God. So I say, whatever, I'm though really sick. I don't know how I've stood through this entire cremation and I couldn't go to the crematorium ground. I thought I was going to pass out, so let it be. Over there, after some time, it is Ramesh Advani who talks about caning in Bangalore. Anita Merchant is talking about the elderly hit and about the caning. I don't know. It's like just cryptic talk. But I'm too knackered out to really, care. I just want. Then there's one big fight between, which I'm an outsider. I'm sleeping in my bedroom, which is my dad's bedroom. I hear her screeching and screaming at Ravi and Shalina. And I'm not part of the conversation. I'm wondering what went wrong. I just leave it. Any which ways, I then come to know when I've gone to see if everything's okay with my locker. I see my original property papers have been stolen, along with my mother's original divorce papers. The only thing left in that cupboard is my educational certificates, and I'm wondering why she left it. But she has stolen my mint and pink color Fort Convent report cards, and I think 1-2 more SSC certificates and maybe an HSC certificate. I don't know. Now that was another headache. So I don't know, this is like too confusing. When it comes to 2018-19, what I did is, because I thought my room had been, again, I had got some lock fixed over there. The way the carpenter fixed it, it didn't fix nicely. And I felt someone had entered my bedroom when I was sleeping at 4 Jaswell during 2018-19. And my ear also was bleeding. So I believe that's the time when they fixed whatever they fixed into my ear, which does a whole lot of wireless talk without it being loud enough the way I'm loud or recordable, but it is very much into the body, plugged by the miscreant. Mostly who's SL, who shapeshifted for Kabir Gupta, the fake identity. Because when I tell him, Kabir, look what happened to my hand, he says, what about your feet? For Chancery, I tell Kabir, thinking he is my brother, about the connecting door at Chancery at Lavelle Road, not at Pavilion, but at Lavelle Road. And he says, yeah, they did it from the back. And I say, is this my cousin brother or is there something wrong? Because there's something wrong with this guy. He's not all there. So unwittingly, there is something that you figure out. When I went for that one lunch from this apartment, my car, which was a auto, it is like the automatic, but it is just a quid. It's like, I don't know what it is, but it's a quid and it is automatic. So it was not starting, or I didn't know how to put it off or what. It was not starting. You just seen the glee on Shamlu's face. I said, and it's like glee between her and Kabir. And I'm like thinking, well, I don't think I come from a family that has this kind of an attitude. We come up, they drop me home after a lunch, and straight away he's gone for this sliding window in this apartment, and within no time I see that the lock is broken. So these people have a habit of breaking locks. From the outside, they know how to open locks even if you have 3 latches. It has already been done in my apartment. I have gone to sleep by mistake for 1.5 hours or 1 hour. My SIM card is in my phone. When I've woken up, the SIM card is missing. So you tell me if it's my imagination. 30,000, 40,000 on 2 different occasions, cash has disappeared. From this apartment, from my bedroom, I don't know, drawers or cupboard or what. So you tell me if it's my imagination. There is physical evidence, and yet when you put in the FIR, what is done to catch the culprit? Who is the culprit? Who is the police also? It is just grey. I guess it's a great movement and a great future, like your Achhe Din, for the so-called Yuva tomorrow. SRL, is Praveen Lekhraj, your brother, still in the body? Bishop Cotton's brother of yours, called Praveen Lekhraj, is he still in the human body? Praveen has already moved into the afterlife? Praveen has been taken underground somewhere and he is in the body but unconscious? Has Praveen been CRISPR'd to be somebody else and put out on the streets? Is that what has happened with Praveen Lekhraj? Your brother has been put out on the streets, CRISPR'd and put out onto the streets, the way they do it with everybody. So Praveen has just been CRISPR'd out of his assets and put out onto the streets. They've done the same thing to Nitesh Gupta. Have they done the same thing to Nitesh Gupta? They've done the same thing to Nitesh Gupta. They've done the same thing to Praveen Lekhraj and they've done the same thing to Nitesh Gupta. Are they planning to do this to Dev Hingorani too? So has he to be very careful? I hope he understands the latches, they know how to open it. They just CRISPR you and put you out onto the street. You don't remember who you are. You don't even know who you are. You don't have any identity on you. They grab identity. I want to ask you guys one question. Do you see these guys now getting busted, given how much corruption there seems to be in the police? Or then, I don't know, the military can't seem to be understanding what the situation is. Do you see these guys getting busted? Do you see the guys getting busted? You see them getting busted? I really do hope these guys get caught. I think they should be slow. I don't know. Let's just leave it. I don't even want to get into it. It's like a hazard. No, there is no development. I gave you one example. Mala Bhavnani, her family is not no page 3. Nor anywhere in the newspapers. The merchant household is nowhere in the newspapers. One is worth 500 crores, the other one is anything between 300 to 500 to 700 crores. You just put two families together who don't hit the headlines. They're not seen on page 3. They're just the normal upper middle class average in Bombay-ite. That itself comes to about 1,000 crores. Gone into a criminal network, poof, it's over from the economy. Now that's only two families. What is Bombay's entire setup? That's the financial capital. Professionals, high-paid professionals, just disappearing. Business homes having little snakes entering. Everybody else becomes the frog. The money gets eaten up, gobbled and moved to a criminal network. You don't have a financial capital. You don't have a government capital. What do you have then? A bloody fucking bubble waiting to blast in your face. Forget about any bloody bomb blast. I don't want to say anything, but the traffic police has changed over here for what? How many people have disappeared in the traveling? They're pros in wherever they are used to doing this. So you see them getting busted. I want to ask Sanjeev, Rajan, Lekhraj. Sanjeev, your girlfriend Cookie, she's still in her body? She had moved to Australia, really? She broke up with Sanjeev Lekhraj thinking she's breaking up with Sanjeev Rajan Lekhraj because she started hanging out with a duplicate? Is that when she broke up with you? Did she break up with the original Sanjeev Rajan Lekhraj when she broke up with Sanjeev Lekhraj? Okay, you want to talk about your friend called Andy Anand? Because I've got him here in the Scrabble read. First thing first, if I can just check your friend Anand Khandelwal. Is he still in the human body as of today? Because when we ask for some people, what we asked last month, this month there are no more. So I don't know if it's a problem with the pendulum or it really happened within like 21 days or a month or two apart. Anand Khandelwal is still in the human body. Last time I was told about 2-3 months ago, Anand Khandelwal has to be very careful. He has lots of snakes that have entered into his setup. They wait for an opportunity to get rid of whoever they want to get rid of. Is that still holding? That still holds. Is this his friend Sanjeev Lekhraj from childhood who's talking? Sanjeev Rajan Lekhraj from Dalamal who's still talking? Okay, so I'm just passing on the message. Now I'm getting on. You're trying to tell him what? SL has gone and plugged his loo. He's got the same problem as my bathroom when I'm having a snan or I'm having a bath. Andy has the same problem. You're trying to tell him it is work of SL. SL is the duplicate Sanjeev Rajan Lekhraj who is shapeshifted as Kabir Gupta, shapeshifted as the cleaner at my home, shapeshifted for dead Shifali Rane's husband CA, shapeshifted for R Madhavan too. I want to ask you about Nayanthara, the actress. You know who I'm talking about? I asked you last night to just check on her. So she did a movie called Anjali CBI. Then she did a couple of movies and she's pretty good. Point is, latest she did a movie called Test in which he locks her into a bedroom. And all the signs of lots of the emotional turmoil or then you know what I was talking about like strange activity was shown in the movie partly. Also it is bordering on Dawood's Ibrahim story, which is a digression to my mind because he's like old news. And the match fixing and all of that. Point is that girl still in her human body? Is the actress still alive? Is she above the ground? Is she safe? Are you sure? Because she can be knocked off at any point in time. She has to be very careful. They're removing people in the crew. It doesn't matter. They have removed I don't know who IG का body जाके bones पता नहीं कहाँ पे जाके फेंका है. They have messed with the ATS. They have messed with the ED, with RSS members. So are you sure that she is above the ground and she is safe? Was there any plan to take her underground? Did he make any plan to take her underground? Was he planning that when he did the movie? He is going for my back. I don't know what he's doing. There's like a buzzing in my back, or then like some pulsating in the back. I don't know what he's trying to do with the back structural structure. Day before yesterday and the last 3 days he's been under my right underarm, making it pain for no rhyme of reason. Then about 1 day or 2 days ago, or one other separate day, he was maligning my whole this arm to twist it. I can't straighten it. So he's definitely chipped my body, and he can mess with the structure of the body. That I've been fully aware of. So anyway, we just hope for the best. But I'm like prepared for just about anything. I just hope, anyway, I don't know. We carry on with this reading over here. Okay, connected with Andy. And you had a friend called Sandy? Now, Sandy is Sandra D'Souza, who worked for Nikhil Advani from the time he was a young baby. He used to call her Sandy. Instead of calling her Sandra, the baby calls Sandra Sandy. She was with them for very long. After that, she went and worked in Dubai with Raj Mirchandani and Mahesh Mirchandani on separate occasions. And then she moved to Italy and worked for some Italian very high profile family, being a governess for their children. Then she moved out to work into the seamstress kind of tailoring job. And she was quite successful. Right? So that is Sandy. This reading is talking about Sandy, but parallelly to Sandra D'Souza, there is another Sandy who was friends of SL, connected with Shivaji Nagar. Next to Dura Auntie's daughter Sapna's married home on the ground floor. But that apartment where we were supposed to shift into, for which we started talking to the interior designers and looking at furniture and the interior designers to reconstruct and to do the civil and the interior fit outs, which would take about 6 months, is what it was. That house looked like a debauched place with dirty mattresses all over, stains everywhere, and cigarette butts in every bloody room. A real shithole. Smelling and stinking of I don't know what. Over there, he said he had his friend Sandy who used to stay there, and a bunch of his friends, girls and boys who used to stay over. He had a friend called Sandeep who he used to call Sandy. That boy Sandeep Sandy is your friend? SRL? Is that Anand Khandelwal's friend? Is that SL's friend, SL who has shapeshifted for Sanjeev Lekhraj, shapeshifted for Kabir Gupta, shapeshifted for R. Madhavan? It's a clique of people. They're primarily fake IDs, shapeshifting for all these people. Is Andy Cyrus Mistry by any chance? Is your friend Anand Khandelwal Cyrus Mistry by any chance? If Anand, did I ever meet the real Anand Khandelwal when SL and Ranka Pak, when those things happened, did I ever meet the real Anand Khandelwal? Primarily, SL latched on to your network of friends, and wherever he could, I don't know, squeeze them dry, maybe? I don't know. So I did meet your real friend. Okay. I'll turn this that way. So he says there is something in his bathroom. In Anand Khandelwal's bathroom, it has been fitted by fake ID of Sanjeev, Rajan, Lekhraj. And it's got to do with his look. If he ever, I don't know, if this ever reaches the concerned party, then they should be able to understand what it is. He has slowed down. Someone who is a Keralite has slowed him down. Okay, maybe they know what this is amongst themselves. I have no idea. Since we're on the topic of he has become elderly now. Or maybe a very old friend is what he's trying to say. So, such an old friend. Probably that's what he's trying to say. Andy is not driving anymore. He is using the Ola cab. You need to be very careful. You shouldn't be traveling to distant places. You should keep it. You have to be really careful. They're making people disappear in broad daylight. Also, one thing, they have changed the traffic police in Bangalore. They're very good at making people disappear. Genuinely, I'm not joking, I'm telling the truth. Andy so Leo. Don't know if he's a Leo or what. Not sure. SL soon Andy. If SL goes to shapeshift for Andy, which means Andy will be cut out of his own life. Or they will just CRISPR you and put you out on the streets outside and knock you out of your own assets. You're slowing down, chipping, put out onto the streets, you won't even remember who you are. So SL soon Andy, or Andy soon catch SL. Can be either way. We'll ask the pendulum. SL soon Andy, is there something you want to say? How should I interpret it? Andy should catch SL soon, is that what you're trying to say? Or SL will soon remove Andy from his own assets and become Andy, or bring someone from his network to shapeshift into Andy's assets as Andy? Hasn't this already happened to Andy? Andy's already thrown out of his assets. Andy's driving the Ola car, the Ola taxi. Andy has slowed down. Andy so slow. Has Andy already been thrown out of his assets? Just now you were doing yes, yes, yes. Are they planning to throw Andy out of his assets sometime soon? Is that what you're trying to say? Are you requesting Andy to catch SL before SL removes Andy from his own stuff and puts him out with no memory, which they have done to so many people, including my dad? JAYA.ADVANI, Mala, his wife, my own sister, my own mother, Kiran uncle. Perhaps Mr. Vijay Mallya too. Well, Kabir Gupta and Akhil Gupta have been murdered, is what my pendulum says, along with Koshi Gupta, the real Kaushalya Advani, as early as 1988 taken underground, murdered in 1993. 1995 is Sanjeev Rajan Lekhraj, Andy's real friend from childhood from Dalamal, Cuff Parade, Bombay, in the 70s. So the Third World War primarily started ages ago. Question is, who's going to end it? All the fluff that you people talk in society is all bullshit. Everything but what needs to be addressed. You understand? Lasso. So not literally put the noose and kill anybody. It means please help catch the miscreant. There's so much murder, it's not a joke. And that's, it's just a question of whispering and shape shifting. Either it's a lead noose E, or make a deal on E and noose the guy, or be the person to do the noose. Perhaps look into the matter, and so the nose is look into the matter, lead the investigation in some way. I don't have the strength to take anything public. My work is primarily doing these scrabble throws in my own apartment. I'm not supposed to step out actually. And I've been this way since 2000 and I think the whole of 17 onwards for most part of it. Following through with what has been told to me by Shirdi Sai Baba. I don't mind going roaming and all. I'm okay roaming, but not just uselessly. But since 2007, I've been more or less homebound. The reason being the fact that people are being pulled off. Not that I knew about this before these Scrabble reads started. So my extension into running here, running there is near impossible. My job is primarily to do this that I am doing with the hope that there are people who out there in their network are able to activate understanding what the change of the everywhere has been. So it is like having to test waters before anything. So you got to come up with a strategy where if because they're very good at knocking people off. So the thing is, the strategy has to be such a way that there's always somebody to carry on the baton of not only the investigation but of understanding what the situation is. Today you think Rohika Chagla Mistry is alive, but look at everything that's happened. She's not. She insists there are 20 impoverished shapeshifters for her. You insist that Patsy Parent Bash of Ireland is alive, but my reading is saying no. So that is what the problem is. SL himself for Sanjeev Rajan Lekhraj, then the guy who cleans my home, also goes to probably Rani's home in the next building. Then he has shapeshifted to be the boy she has gotten married to, a supposed CA, a Marwadi guy, but it is the same SL. And no, SL is a fake ID for the dead man. Then he has gone to be R. Madhavan in Tamil Nadu. Who connected him to all these things? What connects him to all these things? There's Rekha Savita from Tamil Nadu, India Book House. But the conversation about Rekha Savita is so much from zilch to suddenly all conversations are about them. And that is sometime, I think, 98, 99 onwards. Definitely at its peak when I am planning to leave from the marriage. But then that indirectly connects to whom? Apollo Hospital. Apollo Hospital has the proper nexus of the shapeshifters and the duplicate clones for the originals, because over there the founder or their 4 kids or then the in-laws got affected. You see how this works in the MLM? And because that is a doctor's thing, the doctor's line has been very badly affected. The Indian doctors very quickly replaced by something that is competent with medicine, competent with being a doctor, but not with the agenda that is pro-India. They are infiltrators into this country. If you realize, 2003 the Aadhaar card was suggested for biometrics. It was shut down. The first lot that was done was 2009-10, but then it wasn't people with considerable wealth that went and got their biometrics done. They're not the first people who did it. It was for the Aam Aadmi, those who have no identity in the country. They're the guys who got their Aadhaar done almost immediately. 2016 is when demonetization happened, and on the back of it you had to have an Aadhaar card. But then between 2003 and 2016, people like Mala Bhavnani and Kamal Bhavnani, who are worth 200 to 500 crores, we don't know. Maybe more than 500 crores. Merchant household is definitely worth 500 crores. All that is puff, 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 gone. That's only 2 families of the average upper middle class family of Bombay. Like that, there are so many. That is your business capital. There are better paid CEOs also. What happened with Chanda Kochar? Then the Delhi's capital from government point of view is washed out. You don't even know about it. Do you have the proof of it? It has spread pretty much everywhere. You don't even know about it. That Gher you are is Geru are. That's 2015. The process started as early as 85 slowly, but out of control 91, 92 onwards. I don't understand what seal this is. Or lease nod means. I don't think this is Dawood Ibrahim. I think this is the guy hiding behind SRK's face. Dawn 2 and Dawn 3 after Mr. Amitabh Bachchan Natwar is taken underground. Just go back into history and see what the film fairs in those days were. There was actually talk about how it's kind of disrespectful, then some jokes being cracked on the stage which was considered a little disrespectful to the senior artists. There was something in between. That was 6, 7, 8 sometime. At least when it comes to carbs, he does do real estate deals. Even this apartment, Shruti asks him if he wants to lease my apartment out, but she's not addressing it to me. The stamp paper and let's say the sale deed, she wants to put, whoever is sitting in the corporate office of Purvankara wants to give it to me in a provident thing. I say, no, I've bought a Purvankara property, why are you giving me provident? If I want a provident, I had not paid the money, I'd have bought a basic flat. They put 86,000 to the value of my this 2 BHK apartment. So this is deals. Eon Car is what Cubs had, 2 of them. So they're messing with the clauses of the registration papers at the registrar's office. So who is supporting this nonsense? Who's supporting it? Mr. Siddharamaya has been called out to be the extension, brain-wise, on the neural network of the head beast. Anybody who has a job today and it is an influencer's job, you are connected to the beast, the head beast, who was born in 1958. The ideologies are that of Hitler. So my guess is it is connected with Germany. When Hindustan also divided into Pakistan and India and Bangladesh, there was a bunch of people who were not happy. You cannot please everybody. When Hitler's death happened because he was losing, there are still some of his followers who still believe in the ideology. The man dies, the project does not take off, but the ideology doesn't die. So if the ideology does not die, the bunch of leftovers who think, no, he was still right, they formulate other ways to come back with the same ideology in a different way, but this time they don't do it from the same place. They are looking at a place which is a safe haven for their ideology and a different approach. Since India is last thought of, where is Europe, where is India, it is possible that India is a developing nation. There are many loopholes to hide out within. It is a very diverse community in the entire of India. It's got so many different states. It is like Europe before the Brexit. So they feel maybe this is a good place to hide out at and to develop their concept over here. Bring that who was born in 1958 into this place called India, in a hidden place, but with the same mindset, and then to develop that in India in a stealth mode. That is one possibility. The connection to Germany, because that's where Hitler comes from. I keep getting about Hitler and Stalin. Both of them who have one is from Russia, that was red, a failed financial model for economy, a failed economic model. The other one is Germany, which again tried it, again it failed, again the Berlin Wall had to be dropped. That is Stalin from Russia to Hitler in Germany. Now when you are trying to hide out in a nation, because you are not going to be found, there are so many loopholes. Number one, it's yet developing. Also there are so many different states. It's so diverse. You have already studied it. It's a good hideout place. But your ideology is the same. The growth of it you do in stealth mode. Again, to this connection is what? My mom's father, before my mom even got married to my dad, he was working at Siemens. That's a German company, but doesn't make him Hitler, which is what she was called Hitler by Kailash Hingorani Ritu Malya. Maybe that was trying to record that my mom is Hitler, which is bullshit. She's a strict mother, but not Hitler. On the other hand, Subhash uncle, who was marrying Koshi auntie, he was going out with her from Bombay, Carmichael Road days in Urvashi, where he used to stay. Their family used to stay there. He was seeing my aunt from the time she was in her school at JB Petit. Now she's a Sindhi and he's a Marwari Banya, Gupta. So Gupta versus Advani is like an absolute no-no. in those days also, and maybe today also. So he was sent away from Bombay to go and do a 1-year course in Germany for his machinery connected with their factory, which is doing steel castings and things like that. Okay, they're like, I don't know, they used to, some metal castings, they had some factory of that, one in Thana and one here in Mysore Road in Bangalore. Now he has gone away for 1 year. Question is, when he returned, of course he was engaged to a lady, and that had to break. She had to marry his brother, and he got married to whoever he said he wishes to marry, who was my father's sister. Now the point is, that's really not the point. The point is who returned. Did really Subhash Gupta return, or is it something like me? When I went to QUT, why was my passport almost immediately stolen in 1996-97? Why was my ID switched? Why was my identity given to somebody else? Who's behind that? How did that happen? And that's 1996. I got no connection to anything. That means there is a history of somebody watching our home from far away or is from within us, and we don't know who it is. Why would you do such a thing? Why have so many Sindhis been killed? They are murdered. Other than them, there are people in the Gujarati, Marwadi and the Banya community who have been done away with stealth mode, the Jains. Why? If you say it's not possible, you're talking shit, okay, then Jabong went into Mintra. Who's Mintra? Mindtree got bought out. CCD, the founder, was found committed suicide. SM Krishna and United Breweries went to become USL. These are only few examples. This is in your face. What about all the Jain children who have decided they want to take Bhiksha? They go walking on the street with, empty feet. Nobody will watch out for them. They got big businesses ancestrally in cloth and in diamond in Gujarat. Who's watching out for them? Who is actually their parent? Is it the real parent or is it a clone? And when these children are going out on the street walking for Bhiksha, which means salvation, self-realization, at the age of 9 and 11 and 13, are they poached from those streets? Who's watching for them? They are just staying in any place. So primarily this guy is SL, who is the fake identity of Kabir Gupta, who drives an Eon. R. Madhavan too, I understand he has shapeshifted. He has also shapeshifted earlier in Elon's camp. He is Elon's EA. Maybe overseas is what they're trying to say. Maybe he took overdrafts in the name of Elon overseas. Messed with Elon's finances too, maybe. Or as Elon, putting him into a problem. He's no more. The real guy from Pretoria, his mom, him, his dad, they're no more. His brother and sister, Tosca Musk and Kimball Musk, again I checked last night, they're underground in a facility somewhere. Not that they have disappeared from society, they have been abducted and taken underground somewhere. Maybe for their conscience, maybe then their embryos, genomes, I don't know what will be stolen, and then suddenly after some years you'll see babies being produced, mass produced, and looking a little like them. They're doing this. This is the new business. From 2000, and I think this shit started 2006-07 onwards. A Keralite who is shapeshifting for Elon. That's muskmelon. Dosa means he's a South Indian who's shapeshifting for Elon. That's one big heist. There is no Elon Musk. There is no Mr. Jeff Bezos. There is no Jeff Bezos. His wife was murdered by the end of 2014. Jeff Bezos was pulled off the grid mid-2012. From 2015 onwards, you have been misusing Mr. Bezos's Amazon.com. From the products you sell, to the barcoding, to the QR coding, to the SATA drive, to the crap you speak at my home connected with that SATA drive, to taking our images and videos live, breaking laws of privacy through the product sold through Bezos's company, and should I say late Mr. Jeff Bezos's company. You people are just a great grand heist, don't know how you are going to get caught. The Third World War started much earlier. Who is going to end it is the big question. So that's what I'm saying. The seed means sperm, I'm guessing. To mass produce babies for a price. It is stolen genomes, stolen whatever, it is just distributed in the world at a price. This man is dead. The original Pretoria, Elon Musk, is no more. This is the business that has been happening. That is the embryo, that is the seed, those are the genomes, those are the genes, that's the cloning. When we get Taimur was abused in a car underground, that Kareena Kapoor was shot dead and Ranbir Kapoor was shot dead. It is not the clones, it is the original. Otherwise, Taimur, their real child, no more in their home, in a Gujarati car connected with an old grandmother, abused, does not make sense. But that's happened. Also, when Taimur Ali Khan Pataudi was born, wasn't there some talk about $100,000 of Taimur's lookalikes? Nobody does that. So that is the reason people like Andy need to be really careful, because this reading is just watching out from your friend Sanjeev, Rajan, Lekhraj for you. He's already in the afterlife. He was in the afterlife in 1995 itself. Everything that you have dealt with, any identity of SL after that, is just somebody who's a great grand farce, a fake identity and not a good person. He fucked everybody over. Plenty of people from South America over here. You know what? You need to make sense of it yourself. You decide what you want to do. This is the reading. What you think and what it is. Also, Elon is from South America. So this connects to the seed and the selling of it. To create male progeny at a price from Elon's DNA and his genomes, this is what it probably is. Which version of Elon, which EA, and what job? Let's hope he's also not dozing. He has an EA. Let's hope they have not put him off. The brain is such an important part of the body that nobody realizes, actually telling you. That's it. That's messed with. Everything else is gone. So did they make him doze? Does he drink? So did they give him a soda and put him to sleep? Put him into a nidra after that? Worse still, let's hope he was not CRISPRed. Let me ask. Because I really don't know who all have been CRISPRed into my home as Mr. JAYA.ADVANI or then Kiran Merchant or then Anita Merchant or then for that matter Shalina Undalani or then as Koshi Gupta. But definitely these places have been used for rotating people, CRISPRing them in and out of our home, and I think also in the case of Kabir Gupta, Akil Gupta, now Nitesh Gupta. Now you know Nikhil Advani is over there. Then there is a Nikhil Advani scene in society. There's Nick, Nixie, Nikhil, three of them. Mala Bhavnani, the real one. Then Rohika Chagla Mistita, you're insisting. Patsy Parent Bash, you're insisting. But my pendulum is insisting India, not there. You got 20 impoverished Indians in their place and some from abroad, from the Middle East. Anyway, I just want to say one thing. The ones who tried doing the RTI, like Rohika Chagla Mistry, Salman Khan, all of them were shot dead. I don't know, not shot dead, but all of them were removed one by one from their life in the most strange manner, if I can say so. So if he's asking you to take the lead, I don't know if it is a good idea. Perhaps not like a lead, but something very different. Understanding how these people function and then counteracting it with a different strategy. But if someone's old and slow, I don't know what you can do, except watch out for yourself. So I don't know. What I want to ask you, when it comes to Noel, is there anything you want to talk about Mr. Noel Tata? The question of dose connected with the EA. Is it a medical dose given to Mr. Noel Tata willingly? Is it something mixed in something to give him a dose to make him drowsy or to make him little dim? First and foremost, is Mr. Noel Tata still in his human body? Is he seen above the ground? He's still in his human body above the ground? Okay, so you're bringing it to his notice that sometimes is it in his soda by any chance? Is that what you're trying to say? The dose is to make him drowsy? But why do you need to make him drowsy via a dose in the soda? These guys have been anesthesizing through vapor. You can put someone off with vapor. I mean, when they're making things jump and they're with voice and IR, in my home at least, like, bottle caps and just plastic. When you can do that from surfaces, and they've been like putting like something sticky on the floor, and then that vaporizes with whatever smell that's on it. But if that was poison, it would kill pretty much everybody. Or then if that had anesthesia, all of us would go to sleep. So why do they need to put it in the soda? They could just vaporize it. Anyway, okay. It is done by his EA. His EA has been up to this kind of stuff. Okay. AO soon il ED. Let me ask. There can be two things over here. Electrocuting the ED, which means making it a non-functioning department, or they finding her and catching her or him. So far he has been successful with the CIA and the FBI Next stop is the ED, Enforcement Directorate. I want to understand, will the ED quick, are you telling them that the ED will catch him soon? When you say eel, it's like a kind of an electrocution, right? So point is he going to be getting to the ED first? Is AO going to be the eel to the ED? The ED will be the eel to the EA to the AO. Okay, the ED is going to win. I'm just trying to understand, will law and order primarily prevail to catch the miscreant who has done so much damage to so many people? It's disgusting actually. It saps out the energy just coming to know what all has happened in the past. And yet, you cannot just, one has to just keep going simply because the guy has to be caught or the bunch has to be caught. So you see them getting caught soon? Okay, that's good news. Okay, is there anything more you wish to say from this read? There's still more in this read that needs to be read, but I feel I've read everything. There's still more to be read? Okay. Okay. I don't know, there's a Dune seal and a Dune sail. E. Dune is Dune school in India. So either it is a Dune sail E, or this guy wears Dune school seal and is shape shifting. Or Dune lease. I'm not sure how to interpret this, but this is to do with the EA for the South African Elon, who's no more, connected with Dune School. Or somebody who graduated from Dune School has gone away overseas to be Elon, working in Elon's company, whether he knows there is no real Elon Musk and that he's got a job with some other people. The Musk family actually is eradicated. I'm not sure what this is, but whoever knows what this is, then you know what it is. So the Chinese has, either the Chinese is the EA for Sen without her knowledge, or Sen is the EA for a Chinese pretending to be Chinese or Korean. Noodle. I don't think it is from Thai. I don't think it is from Indonesia. हमको लगता है either Korean है कि Chinese है. It's a Elon scam. Over there is somebody who's been called a warlord from a very rough neighborhood upbringing. The real Pretoria family is no more. That who is brought up the British way, like British India, at Delhi and Lutyens colony or whatever you want to understand, that better in South Africa, because in South Africa it stands out even more. It's a very different upbringing. Or rough neighborhood cannot be the upbringing. Elon getting chucked down the stairs in a South African school is a possibility because he is kind of different. Him finding it a little difficult to fit in because he's, brought up in the convent school, and it's like Bishop Cotton's or like Campion School. Rough neighborhood cannot be there. You cannot turn out to be a rough neighborhood kind of a warlord, connected with noodle, connected with whatever else we just got. The Pretoria family has already been washed out ages ago. Find out from the Pretoria family's children, the 5 boys. From there you will get lots of hints if they are willing to talk. That's if some of them are even alive. We don't even know. If they have anything to say in the before, after and observation of their own upbringing, you will come to know who is who. So there is some lending done between a Bengali girl, Bengali man, and someone from Kerala. I am not a Keralite auntie. I am not connected with the industry of Sen. I was provided for as a 5, 10, 8, 7-year-old child. I've been stolen from by the same fuckers who take loans in other people's names. They're forging stuff all the fucking time. From Bombay to Delhi, now all the fucking way to Russia, and after that to fucking America. Don't pin your incompetency on me. Alright? For the dimes you keep calling me, insulting me in my own apartment, for you trying to steal my property, registering it at 86 thousand like a fucking imbecile, whereas the stamp duty registration is 4,87,000. You bloody prick. The fact that you registered this property on the fucking 18th floor, where the bloody open fucking car park is not even less than 1.5, 2.5 lakhs, shows how stupid you are. Don't fucking play buzzers from my body, you little dickhead. You're a fucking uneducated fucking prick. The only thing you fucking know how to do is kill people, replicate them. The replication also is somebody else's hard work. You make fucking people work on great promises. Once the work is done, you kill the one who did all the work. You murder them. Then you take the fucking work and you're pressing buttons thinking you fucking created it. Because you're a dumb fuck, dickhead. You did something through Ashish Bhatia's identity to connect it with GPS. Then the guy who created all the fucking GPS, you got rid of them. You took the fucking GPS work done by somebody else, didn't pay them, went ahead, took that and ran with it, and now you play with it doing your own bloody nefarious deeds. You do this with everything. The fucking Yuvat shit that you keep talking, they will be the biggest enslaved slaves, chipped, not able to think for themselves. What you are talking? Don't talk this shit with me. Leena is who? There is Leena, who is the sister of Sanjeev, Rajan, Lekhraj's cousin from America, married in America. There is a Leena who is Mala, married to Rajan Mama. Her name before she got married to Rajan Mama. Now what did you do with these people, we don't know. But if you're like an OD, you probably messed with them. Since this is SRL Sanjeev Rajan Lekhraj, his father's sister's daughter's name is Leena, her brother's name is Sunil. Their father was a big shot in Taj Mahal, Apollo Bandar, I have a feeling. Again, working for the Tata's company, the way Bedi in Bangalore was working for Taj West End, I think he's no more in the body. Neither he nor his friend Shishadri. So, I'll ask if this is which Leena. She got married to a boy in America. Then when I was breaking up with whoever I thought I was married to, which was a sham, she had left her husband too, and her mother went running to America to patch them back together. Now, let's just see what we get out of it. Okay? Hi, can I ask you a question over here? Leena is who? Is it Mala, Rajan's wife? Rajan Sadrangani, my mother's brother, was married to a lady called Leena before she got married to him and became Mala Sadrangani. So are we speaking about Hina and Alisha's mother? Since we're talking about SRL has a cousin sister called Leena. She was Red House in Fort Convent School. We're talking about Leena, who is Leena Lekhraj. No, she wouldn't have been Lekhraj. Her father's name was Katkar, or yeah, Katkar or something of that sort. He was doing very well as top management or the top tier of Taj Mahal, Apollo Bandar, the hotel. I don't know if he was Katkar or Katkar. Katkar. I don't know his exact thing. He and your dad's sister divorced. They were not getting along. At the time when the sham setup happened, Leena is said to have been in America, married, and had left her husband or wanted to leave the husband. She wanted to separate because they weren't getting along. Your father, Mr. Rajan Lekhraj or Rajan Naren Lekhraj's sister, went running to America to patch them up. So we're talking about Leena from the Red House. Katkar, I think. Now she was sold, as in what? The brain was sold, the conscience was sold. Is she above the ground and okay otherwise? He did a deal on her what? To chip her in some way? Have they stolen her genes, genomes, embryo, DNA, things like that to create things? Because of her dad's ability to be top management professionally and her own bloodline connected to the Lekhraj's. So they grabbed her genomes without her. Does she know about it? So they grabbed it and they're selling it and making money off it. Is that what you're trying to bring to her notice? Tomorrow she could see little mini-me's, as in little minis of herself, or reminding her of like her family members. That's from her embryo stolen. That's the sale and the renting of. Is she also going to be going live in some time to understand the experiments they do with artificial intelligence or the convergence of human with technology? Has it already started on her? It has already started on her. She can also hear in her body what I can hear. All the bullshit these people do. It's already started on her. In India, are there other people like me who this is started on? In India, whatever this experiment these people have started, have they started on other people in India yet? Are there some people in India chipped the way I was, waiting to go live, and they can make them go live at whim whenever they feel like? So they can go live the way I go through whatever, listening to their digital shit, nonsensical crap. There are people who can go live in India also. Are they planning to do that to a bunch of people in India down the line? So they're latent as of now, like sleeper kind of cells or sleeper kind of people, just latent in the body or in the brain, which can be set off alive anytime. In the case of Leena in America, it has already gone live. Okay, so she would understand what I'm talking about. She would understand what I'm talking about. Okay. Now, do you want me to read further over here? There's still more in this that needs to be read. Can I close this session now? Because I need to take a little break before I do my prayers. Okay, dollies, I'm off from here. Even I can't even say the right thing. I need to go now. Okay, I'm closing the session. I'm closing this session. I'll see you people afterwards. Okay, I'm closing. Okay, you all enjoy, relax. Okay. Okay, I'm shutting this session for now. It's about 15:51. I need to relax for a little while. I'm closing this for now.